Summarize topic 3.4, your brain from top to bottom. So if you're a parent, maybe a caregiver or a teacher trying to help a child navigate this, we're giving you that high-level summary, the map, the keywords, everything you need to feel instantly up to speed.
Absolutely. And it's more than just naming parts. The way this curriculum is set up is actually pretty smart. It jumps from basic anatomy right into function. It defines the brain's job right away as helping us, quote, survive and function.
Mm.
So it's really about understanding the command center, not just pointing to where it is on a diagram.
Okay, let's unpack that. Where does it start? You said function first.
Well, it starts foundationally with defining an organ, not just any body part, but parts working together for survival, for function.
Right. And before they even get to the big brain words like cerebellum or cerebrum, there's a warm-up, something about memory.
Yeah, exactly. A classic recall task. Maybe remembering a simple number sequence like 8615 or something similar. So right there, they're showing one of the brain's jobs before they even name the part responsible. It's a nice little teaching trick, actually.
Sneaky. So the key vocabulary gets laid out early on?
Organs, cerebellum, brainstem, and cerebrum. Those are the big four for this topic.
Okay. And for anyone listening, trying to keep those three main brain areas straight, maybe we can give them quick, memorable roles.
Yeah, that's a great idea for the shortcut. Think of it like a company, maybe. The cerebrum, that's the CEO. It's the biggest part, does the thinking, handles senses, stores memories, big picture stuff.
CEO.
Then the cerebellum, that's like your movement coordinator. It's focused on balance, coordinating how you move.
Okay, movement coordinator, cerebellum.
And finally, the brainstem. That's life support. It runs all the automatic things you don't think about. Breathing, heartbeat, all that essential background stuff.
CEO, movement coordinator, life support, cerebrum, cerebellum, brainstem. Okay, that framework helps a lot. So, diving into section 1 then. The brain's support system. How does the brain get its information in the first place?
Right. Well, it comes via the sensory organs. The lesson puts the brain in context. It's the receiver. Sensory organs are the detectors. They pick up stimuli, light, sound from outside, but also signals from inside the body, like maybe feeling hungry.
So they detect things, send the message. But wait, before the message gets processed, we need to talk protection, right? The curriculum emphasizes the brain is fragile.
Oh, massively. And it should. The brain itself is really soft. The lesson points out two main protective layers for this grade level. There's the obvious one, the hard skull, but also, crucially, that layer of fluid underneath it. It acts like a cushion.
A shock absorber, basically.
Exactly. Minimizes impact if the head gets jolted.
And I like that they connect this fragility straight to, like, everyday life. It's not just abstract biology.
Totally. It leads directly to the practical bit. Why you need to wear a helmet for certain activities. It makes that link. The brain is delicate, and serious damage there isn't easily fixed, unlike maybe a broken bone. So protection is key. Makes it relevant.
Okay, so we've got the armor, the skull, and the fluid. But how does the brain actually communicate with, say, your foot? What's the connection?
That's the spinal cord. If the brain's the main office, the spinal cord is the super fast highway connecting it to everywhere else. The curriculum defines it simply as the pathway for signals, carrying instructions out from the brain and information back to the brain, both directions.
So without that pathway, the CEO is kind of cut off.
Pretty much isolated, yeah.
Yeah.
That connection is vital.
All right, that makes sense. Which brings us right to the core of it all. Section 2, the three main areas themselves. Let's start with the CEO, the cerebrum.
Okay, the cerebrum. As we said, it's the front part, and it's by far the largest part of the human brain. For grade 3, they really simplify its huge job down to three main things: processing our senses, doing our thinking, and, critically, storing information that's memory.
And going back to that warm-up activity, the number recall, 8615, that's hitting the memory function right at the start.
Exactly. It's clever. They demonstrate the cerebrum's job before formally defining it. So when they do define it, the kids have a personal connection, like, oh, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, for us adults, we know memory is way more complex, involves multiple areas. But for grade 3, grouping senses, thinking, and memory under the cerebrum works. It clearly separates it from the other two. It's the conscious part.
Makes sense. Okay, so distinguishing it. Let's move to the movement coordinator, the cerebellum. Where is that one, and what's its specific role?
Right, the cerebellum is smaller, kind of wrinkly looking, and it sits at the back, sort of tucked underneath the cerebrum. And while the cerebrum might decide, I want to walk, the cerebellum handles the how, the coordination, the motor control, and really importantly, balance.
Ah, and the activity for that is the standing on one leg test, isn't it? That feels very cerebellum.
Totally. Think about what that involves. Tiny, constant adjustments in your muscles to stay upright. You're not consciously thinking, okay, flex this, relax that.
Right.
The cerebellum is managing all that complex coordination automatically. So yeah, that simple test perfectly demonstrates its role as the body's fine-tuner for movement, connects the idea to a real feeling.
Okay, that leaves one major player, the one that keeps everything running even when we're asleep, the brainstem, our life support.
Yep, the brainstem. It connects the rest of the brain down to the spinal cord. And the key difference here is conscious control. The brainstem manages the stuff we don't consciously control, the automatic, vital functions.
What kind of automatic things does the curriculum list for grade 3 kids? What examples do they use?
It focuses on the absolute essentials for survival. So things like breathing, your heart rate, pumping blood around your body, sleeping, even digesting food. These are the processes that just happen. You don't decide to breathe each breath, thankfully. The brainstem takes care of it.
Right. Now, I was looking through the notes, and there's this really, let's say, attention-grabbing instruction related to this. It says something like, you now have permission to hit your teacher on the knee.
Yeah. That one definitely stands out, doesn't it? It sounds pretty wild out of context.
A little bit. What's the thinking there, pedagogically speaking?
Well, if you look at where it likely falls in the lesson flow, it's probably right after talking about reflexes, which are involuntary. So by giving this sort of mock permission for impulsive action, they're creating this really stark contrast. It highlights the difference between a conscious choice you make, which involves the cerebrum, and an automatic reflex, like the knee jerk or the brainstem's automatic function.
Okay, so it's shock value to make a point about different types of control, voluntary versus involuntary or reflexive.
Exactly. It's probably linked to discussing something like the knee-jerk reflex itself, which bypasses conscious thought. It's a memorable, if slightly alarming, way to hammer home that not all actions originate from our conscious decision-making center. Some are purely automatic for protection or function.
Got it. Unusual teaching tool, but maybe effective. Okay, so students have met the three main parts, hopefully avoided any actual knee hitting. How does the lesson pull this all together so they remember it? That's section 3, right? Synthesis.
Yeah, and the strategy here is very visual, very hands-on. It relies heavily on color coding, which is great for this age group, helps link concepts together in memory. They basically assign a specific color to each main brain part and the types of actions it controls.
Okay, that sounds useful. So for parents or teachers reviewing this, knowing the color key would be helpful.
Definitely. So the cerebrum thinking senses memory that gets coded BLU. The cerebellum movement balances yellow. And the brainstem, all those automatic vital functions like breathing, heart rate, that's coded RED, maybe red for, critical functions.
Blue, yellow, red, cerebrum, cerebellum, brainstem. That visual structure probably makes it stick much better.
That's the goal. Yeah. Lock it in visually.
So after the color coding, what are the absolute must-know takeaways, the bottom line that the curriculum wants every student to leave with?
Looking at the recap for activity 2, it drills down to 2 main points.
Yeah.
First, the brain runs the show. It controls our body, our organs, letting us function and survive. Simple, but profound. And second, it's delicate. It's fragile. So protecting it, like wearing that helmet we talked about, is incredibly important.
Okay, so putting it all together for you, the listener supporting a child through this, by the end of topic 3.4, they should be able to point out roughly where the cerebrum, cerebellum, and brainstem are, and they should have a basic idea of the main job of each, the CEO, the movement coordinator, the life support, and understand why that skull and fluid are so necessary. Exactly. This dive gives you the vocabulary organs, cerebellum, brainstem, cerebrum. It gives you the framework the child is learning. They're getting this fundamental understanding of their own body's control center. It's actually pretty amazing knowledge for a grade 3 student to grasp.
It really is. So that's the grade 3 brain blueprint unpacked. Just to quickly recap those core facts one last time for everyone. Largest part, cerebrum thinking, memory, automatic functions like breathing. That's the brainstem. Movement and balance, cerebellum. Blue, red, yellow, if you remember the colors. And here's something to maybe think about after this, a final thought for you. We know the cerebrum is key for storing information. For memory, the lesson even starts with a memory test. So how does knowing that specific part handles memory maybe change how you approach helping a child study this? Or even just testing their recall? Is there a way to, specifically engage that thinking part better when trying to get information to stick? Just something to consider about how that command center actually learns.